Good. Savory versus oregano. Why would I choose one over the other? Because from what you said in class, it
Yeah,
was like
they're
they
pretty
were
similar.
pretty
Yeah,
similar.
they're pretty similar. I honestly, if you had one over the other, that would be a big choice.
Yeah, pick one. Okay.
Yeah, if you just already have one in your toolbox, like I'd use the one that's at hand.
Yeah.
Both super have a lot of heat, both antiviral,
Hmm.
kind of strengthen the body, really good for contagious diseases like flus and colds, things like that.
Hmm.
Um, I would say Savory is probably a little bit stronger, and you wouldn't want to use Savory for super long periods of time just because it can be so intense. Unless it was like just diffusing in the air or something. But if you're doing internal, but honestly, as I say that, like I'd almost say the same about oregano. Like the thing with oregano is that if like a person takes it for a long period of time, um it's so hot that sometimes it will start to irritate like the lower bow, like down around the belly button area.
Okay.
It's not right off the bat. I've never had somebody use Savory for a super long period of time, but I would say probably a similar effect.
Hmm.
And so I'm talking about somebody using it like 6 weeks at a time or 8 weeks at
Yeah.
a time. You use it like a week or two or whatever. The things that are hot, usually you don't use long term. Like if you use thyme, you go down to a softer thyme. If you're using cinnamon, you're using more leaf rather than the bark. You do a little bit softer thing so it
Yeah.
can go for a longer period of time. Where
Yeah.
Savory and oregano are pretty, they're the Marines that hit the beach,
Okay.
so I would let them do just that. Like let them treat whatever you're treating and then get out.
Okay.
If you're treating a little bit more respiratory oriented things, I would probably go a little bit more oregano. If you're a little bit more digestive oriented, I'd probably go a little bit more Savory, but they're pretty interchangeable. Like we're splitting hairs with that comment.
Hmm.
They
Okay.
would both do the other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm. Okay.
So again, I go
And
back to like if you already have one of them in your kit, I would just use the one that you have.
okay. And those would
Yeah.
be the ones that would mostly be in inhalation.
Inhalation in a diffuser or a few drops internally.
Okay.
Like if you were trying to fight off like a flu or just got exposed to something and you're just like 911, I need to not get this.
Hmm.
Like you probably have a 12-hour, 24-hour window.
Yeah.
You could go hard with oregano or Savory,
Yeah.
cinnamon, something like that to try to knock it out.
Okay.
It's worked. With COVID, we kind of went a little bit more with like the Monarda and the Melissa, Bay Laurel, things like that. But in years past, colds and flus, especially when somebody was already kind of compromised, where a flu is potentially fatal,
Yeah.
I would break out the Savory. That's usually what I would go for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now,